Okay, welcome. It is wine o'clock somewhere, and it's literally wine o'clock somewhere. We're actually in a live vineyard. Woo!
Yeah.
Happy day!
Cheers.
Happy day! Happy
Cheers.
day! Happy day! We are in a vineyard. I am Liz.
I'm Mia. I'm Marie.
I'm Carolyn.
And this is our special guest,
Susie.
my sister Susie, and this is she and her husband's vineyard. And it's Edge of the Vine, and we are in Rimrock, Arizona, which is north of Phoenix, about an hour. It's just part of Camp Verde, and they have a vineyard. And so we came up here to talk to her about real estate, about vineyards, and about life out in the middle of nowhere.
We're not quite the middle of nowhere, right? What's it like out here?
We are pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Our TV, phones, computers, they can't figure out where we are, and a lot of times just shut down for no reason. So
Make sure you speak loud, ladies, so everybody can hear us. So I'm just going to say that so we pick everything up.
anyway, so yes, we are kind of in the middle of nowhere. We're on the top of a mesa, all by ourselves, no walls, no city traffic, nothing. It's awesome.
Okay, so tell us how many acres you have, what you're growing here, like your story. Give us who you are, what you're doing, and why you're here.
We're on 7.5 acres of land, but 2 acres are Sangiovese grapes. Sangiovese is a red grape. It grows very well right here.
Why?
Why? Because we have crappy soil, and Sangiovese, like the harder the grape has to work, the more flavor it has.
Now, okay, but Mia's going to show these, and I want you to continue with your story, but these are not red.
Not yet. No.
Not right now.
I
How
know.
long?
They start off when they very first start in March when the leaves started. Within the first week of the leaves starting, we got these little tiny flower buds that are going to be the grape clusters, and it takes them 6 months to do their whole thing. They turn red. July 5th-ish, and then we have to net everything. And then
Why do you have to net everything?
because the birds come down
And
eat
do
them.
what?
They eat them. The birds can't see the grapes right now. The grapes are hidden. The birds will come and nest in here, but they don't see the grapes until they turn. And plus,
But I've eaten one, and they are sour,
very
people.
Yeah, they're not very
These
good
are
yet.
sour.
they're not good right now. And
They're
the birds
green.
know that, but they know that when they turn purple, that they're good to eat. But it takes, once they start veraison, which is turning purple, it takes them about another 8 weeks before they're ready to harvest.
Okay, so wait, let's go back for a minute. Let's backtrack on why you came up here, why you have a vineyard, and why you chose the grapes. I mean, just everything. Tell
And
us.
when?
Yeah. Let's go back to when she lived by me and she left me.
It was all because of Liz. I had to get away.
She didn't leave me. No, she left her kids. I was very sad and mad.
I was in my early 40s. My kids were all grown. Everybody was leaving. My husband worked over in Iraq. I needed something for me. This is for me. This is my thing. And it took many years to find what I wanted to do. And I just absolutely love working in the vineyard.
Well, but we're all in real estate, so we need details about that.
Oh,
How
well,
did you
you've got it.
find
Oh, my
it?
gosh.
I mean, let's talk about that.
We went to a lot of tasting rooms, asked a lot of questions, met.
Sounds like a good job.
Oh, wait, I guess
We didn't
my
eat-
question is, was this a vineyard when you bought it?
No,
Okay, so there was not a
Really?
vineyard here.
oh no, we did the whole thing.
Yeah, so that's why she needs to tell the whole
Paul
thing.
worked
'cause-
over in Iraq for many years, so the vineyard is 100% paid for. The house is not, but the vineyard is, and most vineyard owners cannot say that. We hired a guy. He lives right over in the next hill. He came out one day and completely cleared this land.
But start over. You're still missing the beginning.
What do you
just
want to
don't
know?
know.
Well, why she came up here?
I
mean,
came up
did
here
she,
'cause
and
I
why you
needed
found
something.
this. But why you found this? Because
Oh.
you looked at other.
Because we were over in Jerome, and a guy said, "Oh, there's a really great house over, not in Sedona, but in Sedona proper, that you would be a great vineyard." And so we went down, we looked. It was a horrible location. It was a horrible house. It was a dome house. And the real estate agent said, well, I can help you. I can find you something else.
But what made it horrible for your vineyard?
Well, so the real estate agent wanted to just sell a house. She wasn't listening to me.
Mm.
So
That's not Mia though. Mia
No.
listens.
yeah, no. So
I listen
we
and
had to
discuss.
we had to push, and we said it has to be a north-facing hill, and we want it on a slope because the slope helps with the grapes and everything. But we looked at several houses, and as we were coming up the hill, and our driveway is very long, we were coming up the hill. We didn't care what the house looked like. We knew that this was the location, and this was it. So Paul was here. It was November. We decided this was the house. He left to go back to Iraq. I did all the negotiating and got the property. And our realtor at the time, she was adamant. She wanted to show me all these other places. And I'm like, stop. This is it. When I know it's it, don't tell me anything else. I don't care about it. This is it. This is what we want. So we moved in here.
And how many
February
acres
1st.
is it too?
It's 7.5 acres, 7.69 acres. But just the north slope is the best vine growing because the back goes too deep into a ravine, and it would all have to be completely hand done, and that's for young people, and I'm not young.
But does north have something to do with it?
It does. So the grapes grow. What people don't understand is in Arizona, as dry as Arizona is, grapes grow fantastic here.
And in crappy soil, isn't that what you said?
Back, yeah, in crappy soil. Back in whenever Prohibition was, 1920s, 30s, whenever that hit, Arizona up here had many vineyards, and they burnt them all down because you weren't allowed to drink alcohol. They weren't as smart as California, who said, wait a minute, we could make church missions, and we can keep the grapes and use them as communion wine, which is why there are so many mission areas over in California and none here. So anyway, so
Fun fact.
about 12 years ago, if you drive just 15 minutes on the other side of I-17, there's a whole bunch of vineyards, and they started realizing how well they would grow, and all of them are on slopes and hills and stuff like us. The people that have tried to do them on flat ground near the river have all froze out or gotten animal destructive.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question about that because I didn't point this out to the girls, but when we were on our way up here, one of the properties you were really looking at in the beginning was along the Verde River.
It was.
And you really thought it was going to be good, but in the end, now it probably wouldn't have
It
been
would not
something.
have been good, but the only thing was where the river was, there was a buffer of a forest, and then the property that would have had the grapes on it was up a little bit away from the river. Page Springs Vineyard, they lost 2 acres to frost.
This year?
It's been a couple years ago.
Oh.
They had to rebuild. Dancing Apache has lost property. They're down by the river. There's a guy, he's the postmaster for Cornville postmaster. He has a property down by the river, lost the entire thing a year after he planted.
Wow.
So down
Now-
by the river sounds like a great idea, but
Not so much.
How much would it cost to plant all this, or did it cost to plant all this?
It was upwards of $50,000.
Well, but plant versus prep. So tell them
So
that.
we had $6,000 to clear the property, and that guy came in 2 days, pulled it all into 2 piles, burned it, shoved it off. It's that pile that's right over there. He shoved it off what was left over there. And then I had another guy come in, and he put in all these posts, every one of the posts in this
And what's it
vineyard,
called? These? What are the
trellis wires.
trellis wires? And you had, because there's a difference, because you see how there's 3 and then you add,
We should be adding more to the top.
which is why those posts have more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but the guy that did all of the posts all up and down, there's 75 of them, I think. Each one of them had to be hand pounded because we live on a rock. And he was not able to hand pound them, so they went out and got a jackhammer. So for every hole in this, and there's 1,200 holes of plants and then 75 posts, he had to jackhammer them. So for 2 weeks, all you heard in this entire valley was.
So we'll make sure to put a special picture of the post. And now Mia's gonna have a new appreciation. She was trying to avoid the post. She's now going to appreciate the post.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought they were ugly, but they're.
Yeah.
And you know what?
They're
You can have
structural.
so many different posts. I mean,
Yeah.
we went with what we
Logical.
could afford. Yeah. Now we could take all those rocks and we could in
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do that. What do you call them again?
Karen's. We could.
Karen. Karen again.
C-A-R-N, though.
Yeah. So I mean, we could enclose them in the rocks, and God knows we have plenty of them. You know, so.
Oh, really? I'm not sure you'll be able to find enough. In a
Okay, so
45
let's go back.
foot
Okay,
square foot
so
area.
you did the work. You got somebody to come up here.
So
And then why Sangiovese? And again, how many?
we bought the 2 years after we bought the property. I was like, all right, we've talked about buying this property to do a vineyard, so I got to get on this. Paul left. 2 days later, I've got a guy driving up the hill in a big old tractor ready to clear my property, and Paul's not even back in Iraq yet. So when he called, I said, well, the vineyard started, and he goes, what?
I haven't even landed.
I know. I said I dropped the bomb. I jumped. I did what I needed to do. So that was in February, and then
Of what year?
2014.
I say that because it's important because we'll have to know how
Yeah,
our
2014.
wine is doing.
We cleared the land. They came in. They dug all the holes, and we were supposed to plant before May 1st, but the land was so hard to get the holes dug that it got to be May 28th, and my nephew Wyatt was graduating from high school,
Dang, Ryan.
and I couldn't
And did he
go-
really graduate or did he not? I'm
I
kidding.
could not go
That's
to
a whole
his
other story.
graduation because we still had 200 plants to go, and I had to get them in the ground because they were growing all over my garage, and I was about to lose them.
Okay, but wait, I want to talk about that too because it's not like, okay, it's kind of like having a baby almost, like an adoption. You don't just go to the store and say, I want to buy some grapevine seeds. So let's talk about how you pick
So-
the Sangiovese and what Sangiovese is. It's to me, it's like Paul equivocates it to Chianti, like a Chianti wine.
I
like Sangiovese. But why it was that and then where you got them.
So the guy that I hired to help me get all this started, he was trying to start a side business on helping people like me get things going. And he came out with me and he tested the soil, and he called Nova Vine in California. Said, you know, I've got 2 acres. This is what we've got going on with the soil. And they said, well, we just had somebody cancel 1,200 Sangiovese plants, and that's going to go with that soil really, really well. So that was how that came to be. And then they delivered
So you got a
them.
discount, hopefully, on the Sangiovese plant.
That
On
was,
somebody else's
Somebody
problem.
else.
yeah,
Mistake.
That was I want to say it was $5,000. And
Wait, $5,000 for what?
the vines.
1,200 vines.
For 1,200 vines.
For
So
1,200 vines. And so.
But how
were
do they
delivered.
come? What do they?
They came in a great big, 12 great big boxes, and I had to open the boxes, and then I had to ask everybody under this, in their brothers. I think I even asked you for buckets. I need buckets. I got to put all these vines in buckets.
They look like sticks,
Yeah, they literally do. Wish I had
just
one,
like a stick.
But so I had buckets and buckets of vines all over the garage, and they were starting to bloom. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got to get these in the water, out of the water and into the ground. So I hired a bunch of friends. I paid them with food and showers because it was hot. It was
And wine, but not.
It was
All right,
May.
wine.
It was starting to get warm, and we got it all planted, and there's a picture in the house of when it was finally finished, and I, Paul and I are just sitting there, yay!
Like, I've got
So
vines in the
1,200
ground.
plants are planted.
1,200.
Do you come
plants
out
are
and
planted.
water them every day?
No, they're on a drip system.
And who put in the drip system?
I have to move because the sun is
Yeah.
imminent for me.
I think
Wanna-
we should.
We could. Okay, so we had to readjust due to sun changing issues. So here we are. Let's get
All right,
back
so
to our
remember where we
conversation.
were?
No, but there's a funny, irritating part to this whole thing. 2 days after we cleared the land, we get a notice on our fence to cease and desist all work of any kind until the county has come out to inspect what we were doing. I'm like, call the county. I made sure that what we were doing, I didn't need to have any permits or anything. Our neighbors had gotten upset.
Annoyed.
All they saw was cleared dirt, and they thought we were building a road to some big something.
To heaven. It was the highway to heaven.
Yeah.
or the highway to hell and the stairway to heaven.
I had to call Liz real quick, get her husband, and help
Remember
me.
Scott Quinn, zoning permitting
Yes.
extraordinaire.
He got me the permit that every time the county come up here, they go, you don't need a permit for what you're doing. And I'm like, just sign the damn thing, please, because I am not going to have anybody come after me. So I've got all the proper permits and everything. But to put a vineyard in your yard, you do not need a permit.
Okay, but let's talk about that neighbor. Because she lives up here in the middle of nowhere, but there's one neighbor that shares the roadway with her off to one side. Now let's talk about that neighbor's relationship with you now.
Yes, well, so after the vineyard got started, Bara, my neighbor's husband, fell and broke his hip, and he took a turn for the worse, and it was a terrible year for them. But it made Bara and I become friends, and she has helped me harvest.
And now she's over here.
Yes.
Now she's
They
picking grapes.
I know
Had she
literally
just
is.
rolled her window down as she was going down the driveway and said, "What are you doing?" All that would have been avoided.
Yes, because
quick.
it was quite an
It was
ordeal. What are
horrible.
those things? And Marie, you might know what they're called too. What are those water things you had to get?
Oh, we were supposed to put baffles because she was convinced that this erosion was going to go down. There's a private school down at the bottom of the hill, and she was convinced that there was going to be mud travel down and take out the school.
Mud, maybe some rock.
And I'm like, okay, between the roots to the vineyard, because these roots go deep. Once they find water, no matter where the water is, so they could be 20 feet deep. And so between the roots and all the rocks on this property, there's no
Okay,
mud.
so let's talk about the water because that's a big deal. And so let's talk about the kind of water you have, and how you water them.
We water through a pump well. We have our own well. We pump the water out, and once a week I water each row, 12 rows, 500 feet each row. I water each row 8 hours.
I know, but what's the other benefit you have up here about your watering and your well?
I'm 100% solar.
So
We have no
she's-
bills. We have
yeah.
no bills up here.
So she's solaring on a pump, on a well with her water.
Yeah.
So you're almost entirely self-sustainable.
With a vineyard.
Yes.
Yes, with the vineyard at 1,200
And chickens.
And chickens.
We got chickens and wine. We've got enough.
And we have some other things up here too. In case there's a
We'll
zombie
survive.
apocalypse, we have some
Trust
other
me.
things. The
If
zombies won't
anything
win.
ever happens down in Phoenix and the world starts to go,
It's just for us.
there's a area way over there that you can all head to.
Not necessarily. So yeah, and that's also the way you feed the grapes through everything too,
We
because
do.
you're able to do that.
So right now, yesterday, I sent magnesium, iron, and zinc through the water line to get nutrients down into the vines.
How did you know that? I mean, would you put magnesium, zinc, and whatever in your
I'd
iron?
probably Google it.
I've done a lot of Googling. I've got a lot of books.
But what
took
else
a-
do you have? Who do you
I
have?
took
in your...
right now we don't have the help that we did. We're no longer a viable farm because we're too small. Fertizona, which I don't want to be mean to them, but they're not looking at us as a viable farm.
What
because we're
size would they expect you to be in order to be a viable farm?
Probably 10 or more acres.
And what are you
own
here?
12 acres?
We're
7.5.
7.5,
Yeah, but
but
how
we
much
only
is the
have
vineyard?
2. We
Two
only have 2
vineyard.
acres.
2 acres of vineyard, yeah.
So I'm kind of reinventing my own way of doing things. And Chateau Tumbleweed, who we sell our grapes to, they have helped us.
Oh, that's who I was getting with.
Yeah, Chateau Tumbleweed.
Let's talk
too.
about that, because you grow the grapes, but you don't bottle the wine.
No, Chateau Tumbleweed has been buying our grapes. First vintage, 2016. Then we had 2017. 2018, we did not have a good harvest. It was a terrible year for us, and that happens with many farmers.
But why?
But
Why? What? I mean, a little bit of that, but why? I mean, was it the water? Was it? I mean, because you have to have some certain stuff.
on April 30th, on April 28th, the vineyard looked fantastic.
They have a calendar in the garage. You keep
Yes.
track of everything.
And everything was going perfect. And on April 30th, I had my knee replaced, and I was in the hospital down in Phoenix for 3 days. When I came home, it was like something had come through and eaten everything.
Oh, jeez.
The deer had gotten in.
Oh.
The deer eat the leaves. They leave the grapes,
And what do the leaves do?
and the leaves have to
Shade
shade
the-
the grapes.
So
The
So
grapes need shelter from
first
the
the
sun.
deer came in. First, I quit coming in the vineyard. The deer came in. The birds then came in. Then the bees came in. It was a terrible year. So
And in 3 days.
I know.
no,
In
by the
3
time
All about
days.
life. The birds, the bees,
yeah,
and all that stuff.
no, the
you
bees
know?
didn't come in until August. And
Yeah,
when
but I mean,
they
it's
came
just
in,
it's that cycle of
When
you know
it's
the
sweet.
stuff.
Yeah.
there was enough other problems that the bees took over, and Paul, my husband, is deadly allergic to bees, and he's coming down here trying to
True
find
statement.
anything viable to process, and he's like, there's nothing.
I'm imagining him in like a hazmat suit. And coming down, being like,
Yeah.
don't,
We have
don't get
those.
started.
Yeah, like more like
I'm
an
sure you-
alien.
So anyway, because Chateau Tumbleweed said there's just not enough, they have to have at least half a ton to make 75 bottles of wine. So they said there's just not enough. So my neighbor came out with me, and we got as much as we could, and we were able to make 25 bottles of wine that year.
And what else did you make though?
Jelly.
Jelly.
I make jelly.
Sangiovese jelly.
Oh. Got any more of that? I don't know.
No, unfortunately, something happened to the bottles, the cans this year, the jars, whatever, and they molded, and I had to throw them out. They were great in November, but
Just shows that things can change.
yes. So
I think that's the whole thing. Is then you have a bad year, and then you've had stellar years, and now they're so much bigger.
I want to touch base on that just because we are still in the middle of COVID, and on the way up here, it's an hour drive. So we were kind of discussing some of the different ways that our markets have been affected. As a farmer, is that what you would call yourself? A farmer, you have entire years where you have down or bad or something crazy happening, and we're all out here complaining about our 2.5, 3 months of, oh my gosh, everything is going patooey. And my family's farmers in Montana, so they have bad years, and we have articles in the newspaper from like 1920 of our family talking about we had another bad year, another bad year. This year was great, and they made up for the last 3 years. Yeah,
it can be the weather. In that same year, the 2018, we also had a drought. We didn't get any of the monsoon rain, so
But you're watering, so why do you need monsoon rain?
because
Sprinkle from heaven makes all the difference.
yes,
Just
there
kidding.
is so much in rain that comes out down and nourishes everything. But the river down below, if it dries up, we dry up.
I was
Because
gonna say
that's
you're
where-
on a well.
Because that's
Yeah.
where the roots
Yeah.
find the water
Yes.
from.
Yeah.
The water table underneath the ground, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're 256 feet above where our table is. And a lot of the people that are down on the floor have already had to dip down even further.
Oh wow.
And they're on the river bed, and they're going down further because they've lost their water.
So in regards to that, you're 256 feet deep down. How deep is your well?
256 feet.
So it goes all the way
So
down.
it goes all the way down, but then it goes below that. So if the guy that lived here before was excellent at making sure that things were set up properly for them. He put in the solar, he put in the well, and so knock on wood, he did a fantastic job, and we should be able to. Yeah, there's nothing.
It's all the way over there.
Yeah, there is. There's
We'll
a
knock in a
vineyard.
minute.
There's a wine. There's a grapevine right back there.
So if we ever have to go down further, it will be okay because it's already set up for it. So
That's good.
Very good.
So, real estate related, we have a lot of people who are looking to retire and hit a little bit
Yeah,
of
what does
cooler
this do
climates.
for your?
You're only an hour from Phoenix, which was a very quick drive up here. We'll be driving home tonight. We have a DD
Designated
driving
driver.
home tonight. With that said, what's the weather like up here? Like, is it
She wanted to know if she
is
needed a
it
coat earlier.
Sedona? Is it like what temperatures are we?
daytime, the temperatures are very similar to Anthem, New River. Nighttime, my son was here last night and he got up this morning and saw the thermometer on the windowsill and he said, "Is it really 49 degrees?" I said, "Yes."
Wait, we're mid-June.
I
It is
know.
49 degrees
It
at
gets
night?
cold, and which is another
poor
reason
grapes,
why
I'm
the
so
grapes
sorry.
do so well.
No, they like it. They love
the
it.
grapes,
Like the cold at night.
they love the cold at
Okay.
night and the heat during the day. So this is another reason why this is so perfect. But Jeff was like, "I got to put a sweatshirt on in June," and
Oh,
Yeah.
I would be wrapped up in scarf and gloves
he went
at 49 degrees.
He went and got in the hot tub.
Even better.
Guess we forgot our suits. didn't we?
Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. We could have
Suits are
done it from there.
optional.
Oh, God, no.
There's no neighbors. at
We
home.
okay.
optional,
That just took
Sorry.
the 1 o'clock somewhere to a different level.
Don't
And that can
worry,
be
you
scary.
won't see
Yeah, we
that.
won't. Yeah,
That's a different kind of party.
yeah, yeah. We'll call that something else.
So, what is your favorite part about living up here?
Oh gosh, the view.
I know. I was just gonna say this.
The
view
view.
is-
I'll show you guys some of the view.
Between the view and the solitude and just being one with nature all the
Solitude
time.
sounds horrible to me, but I love that. I love you for loving it.
I know. See, you like
I love her
city
for
and
loving it
noise.
because I'm coming up here for her solitude.
Liz likes city and noise, and I like quiet and solitude. And I
Where can I go eat? Where can I go have something? Where can I have fun?
yes, and so
The one restaurant in town.
no, there's
Robbie's,
three
we
down
went there.
Like, there's
There's
three
There's
in
three.
Rimrock.
Nursery. Yeah,
So
yeah,
We picked up pizza from Robbie's. It was pretty good.
yeah. It was very good.
Oh, it was really yummy.
All right, so what other questions do you have for these girls? I'll tell you what else. So she has to net every line here. So how many rows do you have?
we have 12 rows.
12 rows, which sounds, but how long are they?
They're
I have been here.
500 feet.
And
It's
it's
really long.
The
Yeah.
top two might only be 480 feet,
but you have to
It's
net
because the
them
trees
all,
in the
and
way.
it's a fun morning. We got up, we put on some really loud music that plays over the vineyard, some good rock and roll, and we net the stuff. We get done, then we go tour the vineyards and have some fun in town. So that's fun. And that's about July 1st, and then mid-August is when we take the nets off.
we
And
take
then we
the
come
nets off.
cut the grapes
yeah.
off.
So about August 10th or so, we start coming down daily and taking.
Oh yeah, that's a whole
Grapes.
thing. Let's talk about that
Yeah.
testing. What's it called? Bricks?
You have to have a bricks test of 24, which the bricks test is the alcohol content or the sugar content of the grapes. And so about August.
So it's like
15th,
giving birth almost. She's like, it could be tomorrow. It could be tomorrow. Get ready. It could be tomorrow.
So we,
I'm not kidding.
from
You're like,
18 bricks on
when are we
up,
coming?
you're waiting for it to get to 24. And
5 centimeters and dilated.
From the background, you just heard 5 centimeters and dilated.
means
And
it's
it is
coming.
right
It's
there.
just getting
Come on
ready.
the
It's a
porch.
true statement. So
It
the
is, it's
the first 2 years, August 20th, both years, was the
Magic.
Birth
harvest,
date.
yes. And then
Harvest.
the 18th, 2018, there was not a harvest. And then last year it
was
got
late.
It got
It
into
got into September because it was goofy.
and there were some things that happened. And
You
I
lost a
think
lot
So
of
wait,
grapes.
Liz,
We
did
did.
you come up here and actually help cut grapes?
I have.
You?
Yes.
Yes,
Personally.
we will be
Wow.
it's
here.
very simple.
Okay.
You will see the next.
I will cut the grapes, but I'm not a runner.
I just
Yeah.
And
wanna
that's- it's
know
important to
if
know.
Keanu Reeves is gonna be
I
here,
know.
like that movie,
I
and we can.
A walk in the
Then I will be
clouds,
here.
people.
I will be here. If
It is
Keanu's
fun.
here
It
and
really
it's a walk
is.
in the clouds, because I don't like Keanu anymore. But back in those
Oh
days,
my
when
lord!
I was
Yes.
looking Keanu.
When
I know.
Harvest Day finally arrives, everybody gets a text message, email, something to let them know. Be
The
here
next
at
day.
5 o'clock tomorrow morning.
And you bring a 5-gallon bucket. And
No,
you
I've
That
just,
got-
sounds like a private
I've got
party that you're supposed to know about in like New York, and you're like,
And she
5
ta-
o'clock,
yeah.
guys. Everyone be there.
and you come
Find
and
the lady in the red dress.
Yes. Yes.
I should
Right?
wear red this year.
Oh, you should wear a red dress this year. Find the lady in the red dress. She'll have your clippers for you in a 5-gallon bucket.
Yes, and
I don't.
I
just don't
send
be a
everybody
runner. None
out.
of us should be runners, people.
No.
We're all older.
young
other runners.
young people have to be the runners because you
You
go
fill up
out
a.
into the field 2 by 2, one on each side of the road.
And you can have such great conversations with people 2 by 2. Like I met some great people out here.
Yes.
About
And you-
how many people do you end up getting?
we try
15
and
to
get
20?
about 15 to 20 because you start down the row and you've got
And
a
it's
bucket. And you're snipping off all the grapes
And
and fill it.
dropping
When the
them.
bucket's full, you go, bucket's full,
And then a runner comes and
Runner
takes
comes
it
and
and
takes
dumps
and
it.
get you a new one. And so that's because they've got to run these rocks.
Don't be a
Yeah, no.
No, that,
So we're looking for runners.
runner. Young
To
spry
run
young
for us.
people.
yes, my runner from 2 years ago is no longer. She's pregnant and she can't be the runner.
True statement. She can never be a runner again. She's not going to be a picker. My kids will have to be runners.
I was gonna say we saw McConnell. We have kids.
Wait.
What are you talking about? We
I
have
don't have
8-year-olds,
kids.
5-year-olds.
I think my
McConnell
kids
will
are
be
too
in New
young
York
to
by
be
the time.
runners right
No, their
now.
buckets are just
Can
smaller.
they have
Well,
small buckets?
but backpacks. We'll just put them in backpacks.
Oh,
for
that
'em.
could be good.
How
Have
old are your
friends.
kids?
5 and 6.
Yeah, the implements they're sharp. You
Yeah.
don't want them to.
No, but they could be runners.
And
So-
and that is a big thing because if you cut yourself while you're supposed to be cutting
There's
the
no
grapes,
workers' comp.
there is no workers' comp, but you got to stop and you got to come get a Band-Aid because one
What?
year
You don't want a
contaminate.
little blood in the grapes?
Hey, there
One
was some in
year-
there one time.
there was, and the guy that I sell the grapes to, he dumped the grapes and it was a whole beautiful bucket full. He said, "I can't take these."
No.
And so I got really mad and I yelled, and this is a very vast,
It's like
Open
the cannon.
space.
and so everybody heard
If
me.
you
And
cut your effing self, get a effing
I'm up here. There's
Band-Aid.
a first aid kit right here.
Yeah, so carry it down.
We learn, right?
I'm
Ask
a
me
very
how
quiet.
I know.
I'm a very quiet person until.
Wait a minute, you could have just hosed those off. There's no blood. What are you talking
Okay.
I know,
For
we would have before
sanitary
you
reasons.
saw them.
They're only allowed to put like blood and mucus in milk, not in wine. There's
Oh,
rules.
Mia.
Okay.
So anyway,
Listen, I would have just called cousin Vinny. He would have sprayed it all off. He
I
did
know,
it.
yeah, he's in the Hudson now.
Bada
Don't
bing,
worry
bada boom.
about
That's
it.
how we
Okay,
take care of that.
Maria's
Way
in
good.
real
Way
estate,
good.
not
Way
in
good.
food
I
preparation.
know.
Way
He's
good.
in the Hudson. Everybody see Hell's Kitchen? He's buried
So-
in the Hudson.
Is Tumbleweed still buying your grapes then?
yes,
Perfect.
So wait, say it again.
So Tumbleweed,
Chateau
Cha-
Tumbleweed.
Chateau Tumbleweed.
and where are they located?
They're over in Clarkdale. The
Take the last
Almost-
train to Clarkdale.
yeah, almost the last roundabout. And trust me, there are 7 roundabouts down 260. So it's the 5th roundabout, maybe 6th. Anyway,
Went down.
right next to the Dollar General.
I'll post their address.
And then if you get to the last roundabout, you go up to Jerome.
Okay.
So
Well, good. So
and
this
they
is-
do very good.
So we anticipate our 2019.
The 2019 should be coming out. It should be being bottled anytime now. And the new label, the girl has gone from swinging on the bar. We don't have the other. That
Oh, we don't have-
2016.
We left
You'll
16
see it.
upstairs.
Jumping rope and this new label. She'll be playing hopscotch.
See, she's getting older,
She
and
is.
the wife of the gentleman that she owns,
Joe
Chateau Tumbleweed,
Pichard.
is the artist.
Yes.
Now, is this wine the kind of wine that's like gets better with age, or
Yes.
do you?
Yeah, how much is the
recommend
bottle?
drinking it?
We go over and buy it.
Well, there's very, very few. I'm talking less than a case left of the 2017, and they're $40 a bottle.
So you guys are popular.
It's fun when we go into Chateau Tumbleweed. They'll open a bottle and share it with everybody in the room.
Oh, fun.
So
That's so fun. And we went on a train. Oh, the train ride was
the
so
train
much
ride
fun.
was fun.
So there's a train in Clarkdale, literally the last train to Clarkdale. And it's the Verde Canyon Railroad. And it's so fun. And a couple of summers ago, they did a wine train. Before I knew,
There was a
before us
nighttime
girls
train.
were all together. And we did it, and Chateau Tumbleweed sponsored it. And so it was just, I mean, just free
So this year,
pouring wine all night long with some of their bottles and some of the other
They've
stuff.
got
and-
to get through this COVID thing because Chateau Tumbleweed, they're open, but you have to order through a window, and you can only drink outside. Right
Which
now.
they're
but you
inside.
can order and you can drink outside in this
And they
lovely
actually-
weather.
Chateau Tumbleweed is actually delivering. If you call an order,
Ooh.
they don't deliver. You know, if
Will
they've
they
got,
ship down to Phoenix or ship other
they
places?
will, but they'll wait until they have 3 or 4 so that they
Yeah.
have a reason to drive down. So that's been one of their perks this year.
That's awesome. All right, so I just, and I don't know how long we'll go, and you were asking this, but what has this done to the value of your land?
We think that
As real estate people, we want to know what this does.
I know.
And we also talk about as short-term rentals, what you could do out here.
Oh, there's many things we could do, but Paul and I think that it has greatly risen the value of this land, especially for anybody a neighbor or anybody that would want to build down below us, because they get the value of looking at the vineyard.
Yeah, it's
Have you
beautiful.
had it appraised?
Without-
Or how will they determine that? Do you know?
Well, when we had it appraised just to do a refi, they won't even look at the vineyard, which upsets me because that's part of.
Well,
this
no,
land.
that's all right. But there's
But
there's
from
a different level when you go to
appraisal
sell
standpoint,
it.
It's going to be different when it comes to sale because you're not just selling the property; you're
Right.
selling the.
A
So to
business.
do the appraisal, they were
A
just looking
business.
at the house. So if we were to ever sell, I would seriously go to vineyards, tasting rooms, and post
Yes.
all around.
Because
there.
somebody's going to want to work in vineyard.
This is we've got friends that bought 13 acres just.
So,
Little
question: we have 2 acres going right now. I mean, you have 7.5 acres. Are there other workable acres on your
There are.
property, or
There's
is 2
another
only?
half acre down below,
Okay.
and there's maybe an acre or 2 behind us, but that's if you want to use machines. If you want to get into all hand, then you can do more, but that's a lot of buckets and a lot of up and down the hill.
Is this your livelihood? No, let me rephrase that. Can somebody make a living off of this vineyard?
You put $1 million in to make 1,000, and that's seriously it. You put a lot in to make a little, but it's the gratitude. It's the
Could it ever catch up?
oh yeah.
Okay, though this is where I want it real quick because I know
Well,
this is a
here's
very
the
long
thing.
video.
We sell the grapes, and the grape maker, the wine maker, makes way more than we do, and we
Yeah.
do all the hard work. I could change that if I decided to get into winemaking.
And you can. I mean, this
I
is
am.
what. Okay, so wait, real quick because I want to talk about that. 2014.
That's when we plant.
What was your first year? 2016.
Yes.
And that
So
was
2
crazy
years.
because it was only 2 years, and they told you
And
5.
they told us 5. But if you walk down through the vineyard, you'll find, if you look at the stalk, that's a good inch around. There's some down
Yeah.
in the middle, and they're all the same age that are.
So you
3
got. I
inches
mean, I
around.
don't want to say lucky, but 2016 and 17 were good. 2018 was just like probably
It was just-
reality.
It was just a fluke. That was a bet. And so, the netting that you see,
Yeah,
many-
y'all can't see it. There's
Yeah.
netting all around now to keep the
Yeah.
try
Deer
and keep
out.
the deer out.
and it has worked. And I'm going to tell you, 10 neighbors and friends in this valley came up and helped put that net up.
Oh.
Well, I'd had neck surgery, and I was. In
See,
the
it's
house.
fun.
That's why we live in small communities. You have all these wonderful people.
Yeah.
Okay, but Liz, going back to some opportunities.
Yes,
if
other
you
opportunity, I
wanted
wanna
to
talk about it.
venture or maybe have someone
I've been
else do
bugging
some
her about this
ventures.
venture because
we
we have the.
have a really nice plot of land that could have cabins of sorts.
Would you be allowed to put them up here or little trailers and do a short term.
You cannot call them tiny homes. You cannot call them. There's certain things you can't call them. I could call it a mother-in-law suite. I could call it a.
Can you have 5 mother-in-law suites? Your sister wives?
Well, we need a mother-in-law suite, a
Cabins.
sister-in-law suite, a brother-in-law
Cabins.
suite, a cousin-in-law suite.
I have to do a little more research to find out because I know you can only have 2 houses per acre, and having 7.5 acres, we could put.
Well, so this is my point. This is what I mean as another business venture with these gals doing short-term rentals. And they talked about this, is that they could put these little other dwellings on here and then have them as short-term rentals. And my point is, it doesn't have to be a 365-day a year job. It can be, because it can be super exclusive and be like 2 weeks out of every month, and then just be balls to the wall in those 2 months. And her husband also is a pizza extraordinaire, and you do pizzas, and then you have these people work in the vineyard for you, and you take them on wine tours.
That is one of the things that I've thought of.
I've been
It could
trying
be
to push her.
for people that want to see what it's like to own and run a vineyard before they actually do all
it.
of this. Come up, spend a week with me.
It's like owning a boat. You can either
Find
own the
out-
boat or you can
yeah.
rent the boat.
I mean,
What
it's
are
like,
Yeah, you know?
It's like when we sat down here and I saw something and I had to go fix it because I could see it from where we were
So you go
sitting.
knock on their door and say, come
Okay,
on.
so this would be a great opportunity to put like little cabins, tiny houses. We just won't call them that.
Yeah.
And people could stay here for a week or 2 weeks at a time. You could serve them lovely breakfast, lunch, and
On the
dinner
deck that goes all the way around the
gorgeous
house.
wraparound deck. My
They have
husband
an
would kill for that.
Entirely
thing.
upgraded kitchen. That's beautiful.
And they could literally learn while helping.
If
So
this is what I
during
want to
the
put that
season.
much.
so it,
Similar
could be
to, like,
particularly.
It would be like a dude ranch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of a
And seeing
situation model.
McConnell, my son that
winery
came up here,
B&B.
he might go work on some farms like that where these guys hire these college kids. They're
You go in and you
Yeah.
learn the business as you
I'll hire
stay
him.
and work the
Have him
business.
stay.
I know, but I'm just
We
saying
need him
that
tonight.
this is
He's got to drive us
we're
home.
as us being entrepreneurs and these gals being in the short-term rental business. You know, I just think it would be so cool.
Well, next time we come up, we're bringing our own little homes,
Yeah.
It's a
And,
de-stressing thing
staying
Yeah.
a night.
because you'd have
or
people
two.
who might be interested in this.
Yeah.
That work in a corporate job or a high-stress job. They want to do this, but they can't do this because
Well,
of that, and it's a way for
and
them
they
to
see-
experience.
Yeah.
You don't realize how much
distressing-
work this is, but
Yeah.
it is rewarding work.
Different.
And
than
when I do
an
come down
office.
and I, walk up and down these rows and my hands are in the grapes.
Have you seen the Airbnb experience?
I was just about
so
to
I'm
say
sitting here
that.
thinking, I'm like, oh man, you could
Airbnb
sell.
has
Come
stays,
spend
but they
$80 on the experience of come spend a day with me.
Yeah.
Of just
Oh, we've thought about
people will pay to work.
I know,
pay
right?
like
Isn't
days
that crazy?
to work with us, and then we'll supply you with whatever you need.
So
to go
see,
to
now you've
Sedona
hooked
for
up
the
with us.
day.
I mean, you're already hooked up with me, but now you've hooked up with these. They won't let you go. They are going to. They're going to have business plans and stuff and people. They're going to be like, we're going up to, Susie's house.
I'm just gonna
They're
start
do it.
renting your property. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna show up.
Yeah,
How much you charging me tonight? I'm gonna bring 3 people.
yeah.
We're happy to pull weeds. If you need some weed
Oh
pulling
my
up here.
lord, I know it's so
Can
bad.
I just tell you how much weed pulling I did?
Oh, I believe it.
And then the rains hit, and then they grow, and so the
So if
biggest
anybody
thing-
has naughty children,
we need a mower, or we have a weed whacker, but Paul works 40 hours at the post office.
But what
We
kind of
can't do
mower?
it.
This would be like it would be like
Because
bombs
of the
coming
rocks.
off with the
I know.
rocks.
no, it needs weeded. They need like hand pulled by a teenager.
Can I show you the mound of weeds that we have at the end of the driveway? That
Teenagers though.
trust me,
See,
I have
there's-
pulled and pulled and pulled, and these
They're very
lanes have looked
prolific.
so nice, and then the rains hit. And
Yep.
Yeah.
100.
Well, but that's okay. Wait, one more thing. I mean, this is really, but
One more thing, Liz.
weed
One more.
control. I know,
Been at
but
it for
weed
an hour.
control and not giving the grapes that.
I am not organic, because organic, if you claim yourself as organic, you have to have all these certificates and whatnot. You know,
But are you spraying your weeds with chemicals?
no.
See?
And we literally hand pull them. There's a huge pile, and then we burn them. But you can only burn for certain days of the year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's so windy up here; those days are very few and far between.
Because then all of a sudden we know she's.
And I can't do
gonna
it by
start a
myself
forest fire.
because I can't be standing there watching the thing and have to go in the house and do something. And so,
And yet another job. It's a job for everybody.
yes, there's a job for. There's so
Yeah.
many jobs.
Isn't there, right? Dirty jobs. Get Mike
So if
Rowe
anybody
up
wants to
here.
get out here,
This is a great job. It is.
she only accepts 2 people at a time to keep her isolation.
Right now.
No.
Until harvest time.
People were
Until harvest time,
complaining
then
that
everybody's
those
invited.
Labor
I'll tell ya.
jobs are going out the door. That this is a perfect situation where
This
those
is
labor
a-
intense-
And harvest day is a very fun day because you harvest from 5 and you're done by 10,
And then we go
Get-
party.
and you have this huge breakfast with wine.
Yeah. And then we go off to the vineyards.
Yep.
The tasting rooms.
All right, I will be
So
here.
fun.
Yeah.
I know.
So if
Oh,
anybody has
good.
questions about running a winery, or if you are curious to come up here, feel free to reach out to us. Send us comments, likes, shares, whatever.
I do
And,
have a Facebook page, Edge of the Vine
Oh.
Facebook.
Edge
Oh,
of the
so-
Vine Facebook page. I'll post it on here.
Yes. I was going to say, Mio put it on there.
Lately I haven't put anything, but you know the vines are growing, the grapes are growing.
I have some pretty
Ooh,
good.
so we can follow you.
Yes.
So yeah, if you have
Let's see how
questions,
good.
make sure you ask. This is our special guest.
Yeah.
Again, we're in Rimrock, Edge of the Vine wineries.
Edge of the
Vine wineries.
How many
Yeah.
wines have you had?
Only 2, not even 2. This
Edge
is still
of the
over.
Vine
Vineyard.
Vineyard.
There you
Okay. Thank you.
go. And
Susie.
look into Tumbleweed or Chateau Tumbleweed for the wine that comes from these beautiful vineyards.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna let y'all go. So
I
can
know,
go
this
get my
is long,
sunset
so yeah.
pictures.
Yeah.
Liz said
yeah.
30 minutes max.
Sorry.
I'm gonna
peace.
say peace.
Peace and love.
Cheers.
And I'm going to say love.
Cheers.
And we're going to
Peace
say
and
peace and love.
love.
And we need more wine, so we're filling up, peeps. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.